Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching. My name is Yadira. If you are new, welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. In today's video, I do have a Celine unboxing or unbagging to do and a little story time as well. While this is my very first handbag reveal for 2025, the item in here is actually a 2024 purchase, but nonetheless do very good vibes for 2025. So I am put this down because it is humongous, and I am taking out the box if I can. So this bag is a bag that I've had in my wish list for many moons, and wow, it's actually hard to get out of here. Bag has like borders inside, or like I guess this overlay is folded inside and not taped, so the corners of the box keeps hitting the actual bag and doesn't let it come out. But here's a big box. To my knowledge, or I don't know if this is new or what, but Celine doesn't really give boxes with their handbags. That's at least to my knowledge. So like I said, this is a 2024 purchase. It was actually purchased in August of 2024, and I guess I can show you now. This bag is actually a bag that I got during my trip in Italy, and before I made the purchase, we actually called our local Celine boutique and we asked them about the bag, because the bag that I was looking at was the only one in stock in that color and it was defective. So the sales associate did let me know, like, if you're gonna be here much longer, maybe we can do something about it before you actually make the purchase. But we were actually like in our last days there, so I just said, no, let me just talk to our local boutique and see if this is something that they can even fix. If not, then I'll probably look into another bag or something. So we did call and they did say, so I have told this story already, which I'll link the video down below, but long story short, we did get the okay that the bag would get fixed back at home. We went back to Celine the next morning and we made the purchase. Now this bag comes in a variety of different colors, and they did have different colors in stock. Now the particular color that I had in my mind, in my vision board, in my goals to reach, was a whole different color than what I ended up opting for. And what stopped me from getting the color that I thought I wanted was, you know, just trying it out in person and see how it is that I felt about it. And so I ended up going with this color, which was the one that had the defect, unfortunately. The bag that I ended up buying is what I think is iconic to the brand. This is the micro luggage in the color Souris. The color that I had in mind to get, you know, forever was the color named Kohl. That color, I've only seen it in camera, not so much in person. I've seen this particular color in person, but that color Kohl is actually one that leans more baby blue gray rather than gray or like an ash sort of color. So whenever I saw it in person, it could have been the outfit that I was wearing too, but it didn't really work. Like, it kind of clashed against my skin tone. He had actually brought out the black as well as Souris in the same size, and he also brought it out in the nano, which is the smaller version with the crossbody strap. He had that one in a black, and he also had it in the Souris. He did not have that nano in the Kohl color, which, remember, Kohl was the color that I was going for. We had actually looked into another boutique before we went to that one, and in that particular boutique they only had it in black. Again, I was set on my mind of wanting Kohl, so because I couldn't see Kohl in person, we had asked to see if maybe she can track down the actual color that I was looking for, and she was able to, and that's what led us to the boutique where I eventually made the purchase from. I kept going back and forth between the Kohl and the Souris because Kohl was that color that I really wanted, but this one looked so magical, beautiful, and just more versatile compared to the other one. I see myself using this one way more than the other one. And I did try on the color black because I thought black, you know, it goes with everything. But again, it could have been my outfit. It just kind of seemed so interesting. It could be the shape of it. I don't know. It just wasn't calling my attention the way the other two colors were. The defect that the bag had was that in the inside by the zipper, there was a scratch on the actual leather. I guess that's the best way that I can describe it. I do have pictures and then a quick little video that I will insert that here. And the bag does seem kind of squished from where I had to put it in the overhead compartment in the airplane. But here is the area right there. You can kind of see it more at this angle where it looks peachy. And everything else in the bag, honestly, I think is fine. Wait, let me stay on this sort of angle. You can see my cute slippers. And a little bit of, I think that's just like a frame mark, but it is leather. Obviously, leather is not 1000% perfect, but everything else, like I'm saying, on the bag to me looks fine. It's just that top right there. And the inside, I didn't really look in the inside too much, but it is suede and I think it's fine. So we shall see what they tell me at the store, and I'm just gonna put this back inside of my Celine bag. And so with travel from Rome over here, I guess you can say I had the bag in my ownership for a day, and then I took it into Celine on September the 1st. They had my bag the entire time up until about October. I think it was like the weekend before Halloween, very close to Halloween. So whenever I went to go pick it up, as the guy was opening the dust bag to show me the bag before signing it off, I was asking, I said, hey, do you happen to know exactly what they did to the bag to fix it? He was like, no, I'm not sure. So he kind of like called in his colleague. He's like, oh, what do they do whenever there is like something on the leather to be fixed? It all happened fast. So the conversation was happening, and then so I turned around to finish seeing him take out the bag from the dust bag, and I saw a color difference, and I said, oh, I see it. And the guy was saying, well, they'll do some painting over it. The guy who was helping me, he could hear me because I was much closer to him than I was the other guy. I didn't even look at the bag. Like, he just like took it out of the bag. I guess I can demonstrate how he did it. So he was doing this, asking the question, and as he did this to where I can peek, I said, oh, I see the difference. And he like, put the dust bag down on the counter, so the whole bag was kind of exposed at this moment. I didn't even like pick up the bag or look at it or nothing. I did kind of tip it over, and that was enough for me to see the difference, and how in my mind all of a sudden I was just like crushed, I guess you can say. Wanted to be okay with it because my bag was looked at and it was repaired, and maybe they did it to the best of their ability. So I said, okay, sure. And then the guy bagged it and he gave me my original bag back, and I signed the paper and I left. So I went over to Ferragamo, and then I went over to like Ann Taylor, and I was still like uneasy about my handbag. It was something that I hadn't worn the bag, and yes, I knew there was a defect on it, but they also did tell me they were able to honor the warranty anywhere around the world. And so I thought I was gonna get a brand new bag, not an actual brand new bag, but I thought that I was gonna get a bag that came back looking brand new, right? That's what I thought. I had actually gone to go pick up the bag by myself, so I phoned my husband and I said, hey, I'm gonna send you some pictures. I'm just picking up the bag, and I'm not sure about it. So I sent him pictures. I didn't even tell him what. And he's like, oh, why does it look like that? And I was like, that's my validation that one, it's not just me, my eyes, or the lighting, it's the actual bag. And so I was like, you know what, I see the color difference and it's really starting to bother me. And he's like, well, go back to the store, go drop it off, go let them know and see if they can send it back for repair again. So I was like, okay. At this point, I was like shaken. This was a brand new bag that they told me they can fix for me, and they gave it to me just here. That's all we did. Basically, that's kind of how I felt. And that to me was sad. I mean, I did do my homework before making the purchase, and I trusted, and that is why I went ahead and got the bag. That spoke to me the most. So after having that conversation with my husband, I literally just put the bag back inside of the dust bag and everything, because I like stopped in the middle of the mall and I just had to take a picture of it and send it to him and get another opinion. I was like shaking my whole way there because I was like, what am I gonna tell them? Like I needed a voice for my current feelings, and I kind of feel like I'm feeling that those feelings all over again. I just didn't want to inconvenience them. I didn't want to be a bother. I didn't want to be like ungrateful for the fact that they did like look at my bag, take it in, do a repair, and did it all for free. So I went in, and this time the guy that I was dealing with the first time, I guess he was on break, he wasn't there anymore. So the next guy was the one that we asked about, you know, what is a repair process like. He's the one that actually took in the bag the second time, which was the exact same day that I went to go pick it up on. And he obviously didn't know the whole backstory or wasn't really familiar with my case. But I said, hey, I am not happy with the repair that took place, and I want to know if maybe the leather piece of concern can be actually unstitched and add a new piece to that particular area rather than just painting it, because the paint does not match the bag and you can tell right away that there's a color difference. The area where it was in was on this side, whereas if you're looking at my bag this way, the chances of you seeing the color difference are much higher than if the area of concern was like facing me, like right here. Like in the camera you can't see the inner side, but you can see this side, which is where the area was in. Not that I care that you can see detail on the bag, because obviously as I wear the bag I do expect for things to happen to the bag, right? Just normal wear and tear. While I do take care of my bags to the best that I can, I know the world happens, right? So then because I said that to remove the leather piece and add a new piece, he's like, oh, okay, so we're looking at about $244 or $45, something like that he told me. So I said, hey, I don't agree with that, because actually I would like to know if I can just get my refund. And he was like, oh no, we can't do that. And so he started looking through my profile, and as he was doing that, I was like, the bag is less than 60 days old. I gave it to you right away. It's been with Celine most of the time. He's like, oh yeah, I can see you purchased it on August the 30th. I said, yes, I did. I said, and I gave it to you September the 1st. And then he's like, yep, I do see that in the notes. I said, so it's a brand new bag, to where the least I would expect is for a matching paint or for the bag to look like nothing has happened to it. Especially coming out of your repair center, I would like for you to take in the bag once more and see if it can be corrected. So now, kind of warming up to my particular situation, or I guess he stepping into my shoes for just a little bit, his tone kind of changed. He was like, oh, okay, yes. And he's like, my manager is not here, but I'm gonna make the notes on it right now. And then he's like, I would like to know who did this, and you know, like all those kinds of things that, to me, I was like, well, that's kind of hypocritical, you know? Like, why do I need to give you a reason to sympathize with me when I'm telling you, hey, I just picked up my bag from your boutique and I'm not happy with it? I wasn't even asking for a refund at first. Like, I wanted to have that conversation with him before even escalating to the, you know what, you guys are not doing anything for me kind of sort of Rome, right? So anyways, he added notes on his little iPad and he turned it over for me to sign. And I didn't review the whole thing, but he did give me a copy because I asked for one, and he was like, same thing as the first guy, like, we will keep you up to date on anything. And he did say that he was going to leave a note for his manager so that they were aware of the situation and the reason why the bag was going to go back to the repair center. As I was waiting, I was actually taking pictures of the bag before they sent it off, because I had pictures of the before and then I had pictures of the redo. There was a lady and her son who had walked into the store, and she was asking the guy if they could add a second hole into her belt for it to fit her a little bit better. He's like, we don't do holes for adjustments on the belts. You would have to go to a third party for that. As I was taking pictures of my bag, like, I overheard that, and I thought that was interesting because I have gone to Ferragamo to get my belt resized, and they are kind. I guess they specialize in more like ready to wear sort of things. We're not even ready to wear, but because a belt is an accessory, right? They're so nice about, oh, do you want one hole? Do you want two holes? Like, are you gonna wear it in your waist? Or are you gonna wear it up higher with dress? Like, they're so kind with that. So hearing the guy at Celine tell the customer that they're not able to resize her Celine belt, it was kind of interesting because at this point in time, I already know the experience that I was already having with them. them. And then to hear that, I was like, wow, Celine is a very expensive brand, and for them to have little nuances and things with their aftercare is kind of concerning. So I grabbed my little paper, my confirmation that I was submitting the bag again, and I grabbed my stuff. I made my way out of the store, out of the mall completely. I didn't even go shopping anymore. I had a sad car ride home, kind of like playing it back, like what just happened. Just had thoughts of like replaying everything, kind of like, why did I even buy this bag? Like so many things were flashing through my eyes, like from not just me having this experience, but now the lady who has her favorite belt that she probably lost weight or I don't know what. I just kept thinking like, wow, if I do become a customer of theirs, everything was just kind of like mushed together, and I was like, what is happening? Like, what is luxury? I was like so convinced of the fact that it doesn't even matter. It's not luxurious anymore. It's just money down the drain for no reason. Like I had those kind of thoughts, and that was like interesting because yes, I knew this before I even bought luxury. I knew that you're paying for the name. You're not actually paying for the actual object. I know that. I think a lot of us, people who are into luxury or who have purchased luxury or multiple, they are well aware of this. It just kind of like sunk in, right? Like I have had repairs done at Louis Vuitton, and Louis Vuitton is the parent company, but they are two separate identities. But the repair experience I've had with Louis Vuitton is superb. Literally top tier. No bad things to say about Louis Vuitton's aftercare. Yes, you do have to pay for it. Sometimes they will do it for free. And then at this point, because I don't live around the corner from the mall, my husband was already out of work, so he calls me. He's like, hey, what happened? Did you leave it, or did you bring it, or where are you? So it's like, yeah, I went back and I dropped it with him, and I got my little confirmation notes, and so now I guess we just have to wait more to see what's gonna end up happening. We did touch base with them a little bit more than we did the first go around. My husband did most of the calling attempts. I did try calling once, and that was right before I picked it up in October, but the second time I was just like bitter, sour. I didn't know anything about luxury anymore, so he was the one handling all of that. So at first I was like, oh, we they couldn't find the paint, and then they're like, oh, they're looking for a part. So we're like, okay, whatever, we'll just let it be. Hopefully the bag will come back fresh and like just brand new, and it's gonna be a fresh start, and I'm gonna be able to rock my bag the way I should have, you know, many months before. So it's now December, and my husband actually called to the boutique just a few days before this particular phone call, and no one had answered. And on this instance, from what I understand, it was the manager. And so because like the profile is under my husband, like he was the one that was contacted instead of me. We had the conversation, and he's like, hey, Celine gave me a call and said that your bag is ready. And I said, oh my god, like so unexpected. I thought that it was going to take way longer. He's like, they're actually going to give you a brand new bag. And I was like, what? Like they fixed my bag and it looks brand new, or what do you mean? Because I think if that was an option before, we could have like been done with this situation all along. And in fact, before we made the purchase, we asked about that, and they said they couldn't because it wasn't a purchase in state, right? Like it was out of the country. It was kind of one of those moments where, you know, you gotta see it to believe it sort of thing. We made the drive over right before the mall closed, actually, because this was on a Sunday that I went to go pick it up, and they closed like around 6. So we made it to the mall at about 5:40. So literally we didn't have any plans to go, so we just went straight to Celine. We asked for the manager because she gave us her name, and she's like, hey, I'm so sorry about your experience, and I know that the holidays were coming up, and we got a bag in stock that I wanted to go ahead and do the exchange and give it to you because we haven't yet gotten a status update from the repair center on your piece, and I know how many times you guys checked in with us and how much this purchase might have meant for you, knowing it was a purchase from your trip in Rome. So at this point, I was just very like, I am now, like my heart just kind of melted by how kind she was being and how she didn't have to do that, and she was just going great lengths to do that. From my perspective, I was willing to wait for the bag and see how it turned out. Now, I don't know if maybe they knew more details than what I already knew at this point, and possibly the fact that they couldn't repair it other than painting again, or what. So at this point in time, I have a brand new bag that I haven't actually even looked inside. As you saw, this was the very first time I'm unboxing it and taking it out, other than whenever I did see it in the store before she put it in the box and before I walked out. Kind of just feels like a little bit of a miracle. It's a little bit interesting because of the whole experience. But if you would have asked me how it is that I felt about luxury as a whole a few weeks ago, I would have said, no, like what's the point? But now knowing how it all played out, and I don't know if it was just me manifesting it or what, but it worked out in my favor, I would say, and for the best, because even though I didn't pay the US price for this, it was still thousands of dollars that went into purchasing this bag, and I don't think that matters when it comes to something like the warranty. If you're saying you're gonna back up your product anywhere, I would expect that. And now knowing how it all played out, I do see that. And yes, it was a journey to get here. And actually my husband and I joked about how, man, this is like my Birkin. Like, I guess you can say it's like my made to order, because it took such a while to get a new bag from the time that I actually made the purchase to today. It's probably even in that nice gray looking color, I don't know. But I am very happy about this bag. This is a bag model that I wanted forever. And even though it's not popular at this current moment in time, like, it's still a bag that I really, really wanted. And I love top handles. I love this color. I love the fact that it has silver hardware on it, or like the aged silver hardware. I love the fact that it's not smooth leather. It is that pebbled grain, detailed leather. The interior of this bag is micro suede interior, or like the suede material. And this altogether is very luxurious. And quite honestly, if it would have come down to something like a store credit, which was not even a conversation, like, I wouldn't even know what to get, because honestly, I don't really like their current products. I mean, there's some that I can get by, but I don't have any like favorites that I'm like, oh my god, yes, that bag. And not just that, everything they have in the store is pretty much more expensive than this bag. And this bag in the US, it retails for $3,300 US, and that's expensive. If I was to get another Celine bag, honestly, I do think it would be another Luggage, possibly in the nano, or another micro. I do like this bag, and even though I haven't used it and I don't know the pros and cons of it, it's so nice. Like, the leather is so lush, the stitching is, it's thick, is crisp, the detail that goes into this particular bag, and it could have been just because it's an older design, or I don't know, but the bags that are really made nowadays are not as well made or thought out. This is luxurious to me, and I would do it again. I would be willing to buy something else from Celine whenever said piece speaks to me. Currently, like I said, nothing really does, but I would be willing to give them another chance. And even if they would repair the piece and then maybe charge me that $245 or whatever that was, I probably would have paid it, because I was still under retail for US. And not just that, it's about time. Like, I was just kind of like fed up with the fact that it had to go back to them again. So such a very long story, and if you're still with me, thank you so much. So in case you're not familiar with this bag, after just blabbing around, I can show you the inside of this bag, because honestly, whenever I bought it the first time, I didn't really look at the bag other than the outside. Like, I thought, after watching so many YouTube videos for years, like, I was very familiar with the features of the bag, right? But not actually looked in there myself. It has a zipper compartment off to the side, and on the opposite side, it does have two slip pockets where you can kind of like slide your phone in there, like two little compartments. And then other than that, it's just an empty space that you can buy an organizer, or pretty much put your things in here in whatever order it is that you would like. The bag does feature like a little tab detail that I've heard people kind of like hang their sunglasses from. Obviously, I haven't used the bag, so I don't know how it is that I would use it, or that I would adopt that idea. This pocket is a functional zipper, and it is a short pocket. You can definitely put something in there, maybe like I don't know, cash or something you don't perceive yourself reaching for as often. So that is their functional zipper. And what I like about this color is that it's kind of like transformative, more like a bag that you can wear anytime, whereas the Kohl color looked more of a spring, early summer, maybe late winter sort of color, whereas this one I can see it in all seasons. And knowing me, I would probably wear it whenever I have an outfit that coordinates well with it. Not so much by season because I don't really by those rules, but I did like the versatility that this one offered compared to the Kohl. And who knows, maybe in the future I would get a Kohl. There is like an olive green color that I do like from them. I think it's called like moss green or something along those lines. That is a very beautiful color that I think I would be interested in, but knowing I got this one instead of the Kohl, I don't know if they would be similar. It might just be like a darker olivey version of this. I don't know, like a forest kind of color. I don't know exactly, but this is a bag that I have, and I know that was a long and winded story. And ironically, while this was happening to me personally, there was a lot of conversation about luxury being dead, and luxury was really dying inside of me for some time, that I've even adopted different hobbies or kind of shifted my interest into different things, but that kind of happens as years go by in a ways. But I'm very happy with my bag and how everything ended up happening, and the fact that I do have this beauty to enjoy now in my collection, a bag that was in my wish list for such a long time that I wanted for years, and I can now enjoy it. So that is how the Celine micro luggage and Souris made it into my collection, and I actually don't see myself selling this one. And even though this isn't the exact bag that I got in Rome, I guess to me, in my mind, it would always be that Italy bag, or the bag that I got the second time that I went to Italy, even though Celine is from France and I did go to France in this trip too. But anyways, I am very happy that the manager decided to go the route that she did, because now I can enjoy my bag freely and happily and without any restrictions or any shyness or whatever it is, knowing that the bag is brand new and there's no flaws with it, right? Like, I mean, obviously we're all still human, so there could possibly be some kind of flaw, but to me, this bag, compared to what it is that I dropped off, is in immaculate condition. And yeah, without a doubt, very happy about this purchase. If you have anything from Celine or even the luggage style, let me know which one that is or what it is that you have from Celine and your thoughts on Celine in general or luxury in general. I want to thank you so very much for spending a little bit of your day with me, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.